Morning, everybody. It's Saturday, and we've had a busy day already. I got some a Wayfair delivery early this morning, so I was actually just down there putting together a table and chairs for my wife, and she is so happy. She's taking selfies in her kitchen and all sorts of stuff. So she's in a very happy place right now. We've been sitting at a folding table and chairs for 2 weeks, so this is a big day. Um, but today I wanted to talk about, like going into a weekend and what today is going to look like for me. We talk about time blocking a lot and what that time block would look like on a Saturday, right? Again, not to be anal retentive, but to be healthy and make sure we get the things done that we need to do. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and see how things are going for you. Um, are things balanced for you now? How are things going? Let me know in the comments. Even if you're not watching this live, let me know in the comments how things are going for you, and let's discuss. Let's see how things are shaking out this week. States are opening up. People are getting out. The weather's getting nicer and warmer. Definitely liking where we are at right now, and hopefully we're making all the right decisions and being healthy. And yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully this is the start of a good summer for us. Hey, Pam. Good morning. I missed these sessions too. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Lavi, good morning. Good to see you. Yeah. So, one of the things in the news are these murder hornets, right? So the meme of the day today that we have is this one right here. The bees preparing for the murder hornets. They got their. It looks like Jim Beam. Looks like one of them has a. He's gonna just drink it away. Another one's got their Clorox wipes. Somebody's got their TP, and somebody else has their hand sanitizer. So this is how the bees are going to prepare for their murder hornets. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. When I laugh out loud at one, I know that's one I'm going to have to post in here. That was just too good. But yeah, so these things like the big hornets, man, that's kind of crazy. And like our bees need any more things going against them right now. I don't know. I know I'm very conscious about not killing bees anymore. Back in the day when I was a kid, we used to just they were evil, right? I think as we've become more environmentally aware now, we kind of understand that they play an important role. But I know, like, God, when I was a kid, I have this one memory. My grandfather, we found a an underground bee's nest, and he was getting to be older at this point. I mean, he was probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how old he was, but he was getting up there where he was doing some kooky stuff, and we found it, and like I walked back in the house, and I came back outside, and he says something like, "We'll see how these bees like it in hell." And I walk outside, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And the ground is literally on fire. He dumped gasoline down the down the hole, and then lit it on fire, and it's like shooting like a geyser out of the ground, and you see like bees flying into it, and as they're flying into the fire because they're trying to get back into the hive, they're dying, and you see them all coming out. It was crazy. It was a wacky moment in my life that made an impression. I was probably early teens, mid teens, I think, but weird. It was weird. And that even reminds me, there was a guy on the internet last year who poured gasoline down maybe a gopher hole or something in his little backyard, and then he lit that on fire, and it exploded. Like the entire backyard exploded like below him and like threw him back a little bit. It was crazy, crazy. And I guess if you want to excavate your yard, that's a good way to loosen things up, but probably not very safe. Speaking of which, I have to mow the lawn today and change the oil on my lawnmower. It's going to be in my time blocking. It's one of my things. So how are all you doing? Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. What's are we time blocked for Saturday? Are we balanced in life? Are we looking forward to today? Are we healthy? How are we feeling? How are we feeling here? Stacy watching on the YouTubes Says, good morning, missed everyone. Congratulations on getting the house and getting into the next leg of your adventure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Kathy. Good to see you all. Yeah, so we're excited. This is a pretty cool time for us. Um, One of the things, one of my like Tim Allen caveman moments, was that I have a house with a fireplace. So last night I lit the fireplace, and it's amazing because so yesterday was hot. The house got to be hot. We had all the windows open, and it got to be like 75 degrees in the house. But a cold front went through, and Nicholas and I were sitting out on the front porch, and we're eating peanuts, and I was drinking a beer, and we're just talking about stuff, and watching people walk by and all that good stuff. And it got to be chilly, so he wanted to get back inside. I put on a sweatshirt and hung out for a little bit longer. But we come inside, and the house temperature had dropped from like 75 to 65. It got to be cold. So, and not cold, but it's not 65 is on the bottom end of comfortable. And so I thought, you know what a great time to light the fire. We'll light the fireplace. So I go in, I light the fireplace, and it took the temperature in the house back up to 75 within like a half an hour. It was awesome. Awesome. So we didn't have to kick on the furnace or nothing. We just put the fireplace on and then shut the windows, and the whole house was great all night. It was like comfy and cozy. The only problem being is I don't have any furniture in that room, so I couldn't sit in that room for very long in a comfortable way. If I have a good comfy couch in there, I might be like sleeping in front of the fire one night, very soon, very soon. Maybe reading a book. Oh man, this place is going to be my cave. It is just where I'm going to be. If I can't be outside in the backyard, I will be in this room, cozy. So yeah, looking forward to that very much. It is a good morning, sis. Awesome. Suzanne, great in Florida. Just returned from a walk. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Yeah, Florida. My dad keeps, like these days, especially this past week, we've had a couple of days where it's been like 49 degrees and rainy, and he calls me up from his backyard. He's like, "Hey, it's 90 here. How you doing?" Always rubbing it in my face. But now the tables have turned because it's going to be hot and sweaty down in Florida, and it's going to be 75 and breezy and sunny in Pittsburgh. Maybe not sunny. Sunny might be pushing it, but it's going to be 75 and breezy. Good, Kathy. Kathy's doing well. Good for you. Angel is working today to make up missed time this week. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. But it happens. I do it too. What is that little door in the wall on your bookshelf? So this thing right here is a laundry chute. The previous owners, I'm guessing the people that built the house back in the 60s, right? They had the laundry room was on the first floor. And so downstairs in that room with the fireplace, there's like these doors that open up. And it used to be where the laundry room was, or laundry space. And so the owners now before us that only had it for a couple of years actually moved the laundry into the basement, which is where I prefer it. And so now this chute just goes straight down into a closet, and there's really nothing there. So it's just decoration at this point. It's just like this, little thing back here. Maybe I'll make it a little hiding spot for something. I don't know. But yeah, so the laundry was on the first floor, now in the basement. Yeah, laundry chute. Good guess, Pam. Um, Lawn chair. I do need a good lawn chair. I do need a good lawn chair. That's actually a really cool idea. So like it's all these funny little things now that we have like these spaces in the backyard and front yard and all this stuff. All these little things that we need now that we never realized that we needed before. So it's funny. Um, yeah, it's funny. A lot of the houses we were looking at used to have laundry chutes, or a lot of the places we're looking at now have laundry chutes. And it's not like my grandparents in that house where my grandfather blew up the yard or lit the yard on fire. That house had a laundry chute, and it was always really cool. And I never had one in any of the houses I've lived in, but a lot of the ones we looked at recently, it must be like if it was built in the 60s, I feel like that's when a lot of them had laundry chutes. Um, and so, this one we can't use because it doesn't lead anywhere productive. But yeah, it's a pretty cool feature if you can use it. Yeah, so James is cutting his lawn. Yep, me too. Me too. You could put a finished calendar to 2 pages down the chute. You know what? You're right. You're right. That might be. I might have to like be ceremonially like or what's the word? Oh, whatever. I'm gonna have to like do like a ceremony where I just put my finished book down the chute. It's a good idea for the fireplace room. Yeah, you're right. That's a pretty good idea. Um, so yeah, so today, how my day looks today, right? So yesterday, uh, yesterday because it rained. So yesterday I was going to do a lot of work outside. I like these oak trees are dropping things on my driveway, so it's a mess. So I got to sweep the driveway. I want to hose off the patio, like all the crap that's falling down. And so, um, that couldn't get done because it rained. So now that gets shifted to today. So because I use, Apple Calendar on my phone and on my computer here, I can just grab that block and move it over, and then I can take something from Saturday and move it over into Friday if I want. And what we ended up doing is I just created like a daddy son time, and we sat on the porch and ate peanuts, right? So like we just did something, with that time that was now open. But today, we have certain things we need to do. So on our list of things to do, I got to mow the lawn. I had to put together the kitchen table. I have to meet the realtor over at the house, the old house, to get some input as to what we need to do to put it up for sale. I need to. My kid's shorts are too small, and he's been really complaining about it. And he's really self-conscious, doesn't even want to go outside because he feels like his shorts are too short. I think they look fine, but he wants them past his knees. So I had to schedule a pickup for some shorts for my kid. Did I say I need to mow the lawn yet? I need to do all that hosing off of and sweeping up of the driveway, and we still need to clean our garage. So all of that stuff is on my list of things I need to do today, right? On top of cooking and cleaning up after dinner and maybe watching an episode of the Jordan documentary on ESPN. So with all of that stuff, it's not like bad stuff, right? It's not like it's not work per se. I mean, it's chores and stuff, but there's also some fun things in there too. But so what I do is I block that into my day. And by using an electronic calendar, I can move things around. So we expected the Wayfair delivery to happen between 10 and 11 o'clock roughly. So I figured that I might have to jump off of this session to go do that. But because they came early, I shifted that block up to 7 o'clock. I shifted my 7 o'clock block down to, where did I move there? Oh, that was just my like that was just my like morning time. So I didn't take care of my morning stuff. So that actually just got deleted. Um, it happens. But so then I have this session. So then I have we're going to feed the kids lunch after this session. Then we're going to go to Dick's to pick up the shorts for my son. Then we meet the realtor at the house. We have that scheduled out, and then we have yard work scheduled, right? So then at that point, I have changed the lawnmower oil, mow the lawn, sweep up all the lawn debris, and then we have scheduled, miscellaneous, which is like if we have any time left over, we're going to do whatever we can before dinner, and then after dinner, we have dinner scheduled for 6:30. It's probably going to end up happening at 7, but we have to cook dinner. And then we have dinner even on there. Like we have a block of time for dinner. And then after that, it's family time, right? So it's if we decide we want to sit outside and enjoy the weather if it's nice, if we want to sit down and watch TV if it's raining outside, if we want to walk around the neighborhood, if the kids want to ride bikes. So all of this stuff is scheduled on my calendar today. And it's not so that I go like, okay, boys, it's 2 o'clock. We need to do this. That's not what it's intended for. What it does is it gives me an awareness of how much time I realistically have, you know? And there's a million things that my wife and I want to do right now, right? We have to move her desk into her space so she can organize herself there. We need to finish setting up the boys' room. We need to put away stuff into the closets. Like there's all of these things I have to do. And so what that does is, I can look at my schedule and say, well, none of that's going to fit on my schedule today. So maybe that's supposed to rain tomorrow. We move it to tomorrow. Or if Lynn has time to do it, maybe she can take some of that stuff. But it gives me this view of everything I need to do, and it gives me permission to not take on anything else, And, whether it's somebody calling me up and saying, like, normally nobody's really doing that right now, but if somebody calls me up and says, hey, you want to go catch a game on TV right now? And I can say, I'd love to, if I have no problem moving any of these things from today to tomorrow or some other time. But knowing that I need to get this stuff done, then I can look at this and say, realistically, no, that would put me off a little bit too much. And, it's a value of time. You're weighing all the things that you have to do. So, when you have a clear understanding of what your day is going to look like, you can make better decisions. And you make decisions on whether you want to relax, whether you want to get things accomplished. You can understand how things take your time. So if I schedule, mowing the lawn for an hour and it takes me a half an hour, well, then I know that for next time. I only have to schedule it a half an hour. But there's other things like maybe I just assume running to the sporting goods store to get shorts for a curbside pickup is only going to take me 15 minutes. In reality, it takes me 45, right? So I'm gaining awareness of where I'm putting my time and attention. And the more I do that, the more I can estimate time. Like, that person that always shows up late, right? They say they'll be there at 5 and they show up at 6:30. You're always waiting around and you're getting annoyed and whatever. Maybe you're very understanding and you're not getting annoyed. I get annoyed, but maybe you're very understanding and you don't get annoyed. But that person that's always late is probably not. They probably don't have a very good understanding of where they put their time and how long things are going to take. And I think that's a valuable skill. The more you can understand that even the little things that might take 5 minutes take 15 minutes, you begin to understand, like, okay, I need to allot myself more time to do this thing if I'm really gonna not be running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I pack too much into my day, not understanding that little things take 15 minutes, big things take 2 hours and not an hour and a half. That all adds up and it cascades into this feeling that we have of like, I didn't get enough done today. Even taking breaks. We say, well, I can afford to take an hour break. Can you? One, should you? Sometimes the answer is definitely yes. Other times, when things just need to get done, sometimes you can't take a break. It's all depending on how you prioritize things. If you need to prioritize rest, then you need to take a break. But you also then need to give yourself permission to put something to tomorrow or next weekend or something like that, right? So it's nothing set in stone. The importance in all of this is awareness of how things get prioritized, awareness of how much time you spend doing things, whether it's a task or simply transitioning from one task to another, or how long it takes you to get ready for something, or how much time you're waiting for somebody, right? When you have a good time understanding, how much your time is worth, waiting around for somebody else can become very costly. So it almost you almost have to you almost set stronger boundaries with people. Like, look, I understand. Like, well, you're going to meet me at 5. Are you really going to be there at 5? Because if you're not, I have other things I need to do. Give me a solid time, right? You feel a little bit more. You get permission to be more assertive in that way. So as you gain more awareness of your time and how long things take and how much your time is worth, other things become much easier. You understand where you want to invest your time. You understand so much more. So this is a practice that I mean, This can change your life. Gaining awareness of where your time is spent and where you focus your time and attention and energy. It's huge, huge. So try it this weekend. Try it. Block out what you have going on from like when we're done with this session. Block out the rest of today and see, like try to be realistic and then look back on it at the end of the day. Like, oh, this thing took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, or I got done with that a lot quicker and I ended up with more free time. As you understand that, things really change and you're going, oh, yeah, light bulbs are going off all the time. Believe me, it's amazing, amazing. All right, let's see what we got going on in the comments. Okay, let's see. Sue says her parents had a laundry chute and loved it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. When we were kids, we just loved throwing things down there. I mean, it was just great, especially because theirs was 2 stories. So there was an opening in the top floor and on the first floor, and then it would get down to the bottom. And it was just fun to throw things down there as kids. Levi says was doing great with priorities and knocking things out, but some new lung and breathing and swelling symptoms cropped up. Levi, is this COVID related or is this allergy asthma related? Because I know you were positive for a while there. Trying to give myself grace, but this is beginning to get frustrating because I haven't been able to get things done from regular everyday stuff to the important things which will eventually turn urgent. Balance has been difficult, lots of roadblocks. I get it. I get that. And it's frustrating, but I think your point is very important there. You have to give yourself grace. And it's going to be frustrating. And I don't know how much you should push yourself. If you're having lung and breathing issues, there's healthy things you can do for yourself. I read, if it is COVID related, I read, like there's like deep breathing techniques and sleeping on your stomach, like try to expand that a little bit to keep things loose. Those are exercises that maybe you do prioritize if your doctor thinks that they would be advantageous for you. But you don't want to wear yourself out. I think it's very important, especially when you're sick. Some people power through it and maybe that works for them. But a lot of times your body just tells you, yo, you need to chill out, right? So, you have to sort of understand where you are physically. And in the end, a lot of the things going on in our lives don't really matter, especially in life and death situations. When it comes to your ultimate health, a lot of the responsibilities and things we stress out about don't matter at all. And so understanding, what is really important in your life is big. And right now, taking care of yourself and taking care of your family is one of the most important things you can do. Yeah, Kathy wanted to spray paint your outside glider, but it's going to rain. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at like today, my urgency in mowing the lawn today is that it looks like the forecast it's going to rain like 3 days straight. And my lawn is already long because it's been 2 weeks and I haven't broken the lawnmower out yet. So I need to get it done today. That's a super priority for me. If nothing else gets done, that needs to get done today for that reason. Good morning, Anna. Hey, Stacy, you're welcome. Well, don't waste time. Get off social media and get to it. Yeah, right? It just depends on what you're doing on social media. If you're watching this, then this is the most important part of your day, and you should stay here. But if you are, just, flipping like this on social media, then, then maybe you should do something else. It just depends. Sometimes you need a break. It depends on what you're doing and how, if doing this is okay for you for a couple of minutes and it lets you decompress and then you get back on to doing stuff, fine. But don't necessarily make a blanket statement with it. That's pretty cool if you get to see it, an Atlas rocket. That's awesome. Weather's an issue. Good morning, Brenda. Anna is a horrible judge of time. I always think I can do this one more thing when really, really I don't have time to. And that is big because I know a lot of people like that. And, I think this practice of understanding, when you can get it all down. Sorry, my eyes watering. My allergies are killing me. When you can write it all down and schedule it all in and then observe if you were able to follow that, there's a lot of learning that happens there, a lot of learning. And as you can be more realistic, I think that brings the anxiety down a lot because you just know, like, I'm not physically capable of doing anymore, right? Kathy says, if I take a break, I usually end up not finishing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, like that can happen, right? And so you have to commit and go back to it. Like, so it's kind of that keeping your promise to yourself, right? Keeping your commitments. And it's following through, completing things, like following through to finish. So it's just a matter of personal discipline, I think. And that's a big component in everything we talk about. Personal discipline is huge. And I think a lot of us, including myself in a big way, I didn't have personal discipline. I didn't follow things through. I did the bare minimum, or I, procrastinated and whatever. And for me, that caused a lot of cascading issues. It's a personal discipline issue for myself. And so all of this, I look at even like finishing a project. If I'm like 95% of the way done and I just want to quit, I say, look, as a matter of discipline for myself, that extra 5%, let's just get it done so I don't have to think about it anymore. And it just stops you from having to go over and over. So if you just follow through, it changes things. But yeah, I know that taking a break and then getting back to it, I have a lot of unfinished projects because of that. So it's just a matter, again, of just redirecting focus back to it again. Um, Levi says, Philip, LOL. I think that's the point. We've allotted ourselves and time blocked ourselves to be here. The hard part is what comes next after this valuable time with Nick and everyone on social media. But I hear you. Social media is a distraction. I have to time block my time for it. And so your Levi is absolutely correct, right? So you guys have blocked this time off because you gain something from it, thankfully, and I appreciate that you do. But as with anything, it has to be, you have to allot it the proper amount of time. And when it starts spilling over and when it starts getting to be unhealthy, then, we need to address that. So, launch scheduled in 2 minutes on Space Coast Daily and Facebook. That's very cool. Nobody go out and watch it right now. We're not done here yet. Stacy says, outrageous task win became a lesson on looking for things that I can hold on to as a win. I was shredded later that day on same task by a women's group. Having that DMD win at the end of the day was huge. Awesome, Stacy. Suzanne, another hold. We're getting Suzanne. You're giving us live updates on the Atlas rocket. That's funny. I'll have to, if they put it on hold long enough, maybe I can watch it live. Not sure. Don't want to go back to urgent care. Levi, you know what? I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not a medical expert. But have you looked into one of those pulse oximeters? Because they were saying that a lot of people were having breathing issues or not having breathing issues, but their oxygen levels were so low that it was like an absolute emergency and they needed to go. You can get them on Amazon for like $30 or $35. And it tells you your pulse and your oxygen saturation level. It might be really important for you, given what you're going through. But if you feel like you need to, I know nobody wants to go to urgent care, but if you feel like you need to, take care of yourself and go. Um, I mean, and in reality, like what stops me from going to urgent care is, I wouldn't want to get infected by somebody else. But if you already have it, you don't have to worry about that. You don't want to give it to other people. So maybe you call ahead, or maybe you ask a doctor and just explain what you're feeling and ask what your best course of action would be to do. Um, Certainly don't want anything to happen to you. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. There's nothing more important than your health right now. Um, yeah, me too, Stacy. Angel says, I still need to paint closets, but seems every time I try, there's a catastrophe. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, and maybe, Angel, that's one of those things where you just hire a painter to go and do it for you. That's kind of what we were looking at. There's some things that I got sucked into with this house, and I did more. I was investing more time in doing the task around the house than it probably cost me. Like, so I should have hired somebody to do some of our moving. I should have hired somebody to paint. I should have done things, um, ahead of time rather than try to do it myself and then later have to hire somebody. So, because if I'm doing it myself, then I'm not doing other things. I'm not doing these sessions with you. I'm not organizing my office. I'm not doing things that only I can do. So, offloading some things. I mean, you know how much work you have. You know how much money you make. You know how much your time is worth. And sometimes those things like painting closets, if you can hire somebody for, I know some people work for like 25 bucks an hour, 30 bucks an hour. If that's time, even if you're not working, even if you're not making money, if that's time that you can spend decompressing, spending time with your family or doing something else that's more valuable, and then you bring a more rested self to your work or whatever you have going on, maybe that's the right decision. I don't know for sure. You might enjoy, doing closets. I don't. But I know, like, for me, yard work is something that I was talking to a friend. I want to have like a ton of dirt, literally a ton of dirt, dropped off my driveway so I can fill in some low areas around the yard and mulch and do all this other stuff. And somebody told me, he's like, Nick, it's crazy. Like, work, right? You could be making money working, or you could be, handling other things. But for me, if I can listen to an audiobook with my headphones on while working, doing yard work and doing that stuff outside, that's actually cathartic for me, right? I'm getting exercise for one. So if I spend an hour doing that or an hour lifting weights, I'd actually rather be doing the yard work. If I can be doing that stuff, I'm getting exercise, I'm decompressing, listening to an audiobook or a podcast, and I'm doing it my way, that's actually sort of beneficial for me. So I don't look at it the same way. If I was super busy at work and I, there was no benefit for me, then I could hire somebody to do it. But that's not the way I'm looking at this particular task. But on the flip side, you know, everybody has their own situation. And Levy, yeah, the nurse told you to get one. Been monitoring them. It's good so far. I will call ahead. That's a good idea. Yeah, call ahead and just be careful, please. Be careful. And Angel says, I don't know how urgent carers are, but emergency departments are really good at protecting you from getting sick. Yeah, I don't know about urgent cares either, because I know they're kind of just like a big waiting area. Stacy says, really struggling with time blocking huge projects like redoing website on a whole new platform. It's been 3 weeks of 18 days. Been trying to chunk it down. Tech glitches still throwing balance off. Yeah, and that's going to happen. And sometimes you even have to schedule in glitches. I know we would do that when we were scheduling projects for the IT business. As we're scheduling a project, you sort of learn the more experience you have. Like, if everything goes perfectly, it's going to take 18 hours, right? But how often does that happen? And in my experience in doing that for like almost 20 years now, there's not a single project we've ever done that's gone perfectly. There's always like one stupid thing, whether it's a hardware malfunction or like Microsoft Windows doesn't install properly, or, like whatever. It's crazy the stupid things that come up, but that stupid thing can throw you off for days sometimes. I mean, even this. So me trying to get a piece of software working on this laptop, it wouldn't work. And one of the fixes was to update to the latest operating system. So then I try to update to the latest operating system, and the computer goes to a black screen after that and will not start back up. So now, after putting all that time in, I now have to wipe out the hard drive and completely reinstall from scratch. That took 2 freaking days, right? I had no plans on doing it. But what should have taken a couple hours in a simple update, all because one thing wasn't working, it ended up throwing me back for a long time. It happens. And so the more we just understand that like glitches are going to happen, mistakes are going to happen, people are going to, change their mind. A lot of like we have to factor all of that in, and you only get to know that through experience and practice. It's just, it's just things we have to deal with. Oh, you can't hire a painter. Michigan is still pretty locked down. And you do enjoy it. So there you go. So if you enjoy it and it's something you like, then it's, you throw on some music or whatever. And yeah, so then it's for you. That's like me moving dirt. You like doing that. I think that's the difference. I can do big things like move dirt. I can't do little things like paint. Sophie says, how do we prioritize our day? I work on weekends and only have the weekend to do self-care and housework. Oh, I'm sorry. You work on weekdays and only have the weekend to do self-care and housework, etc. So, and that's how what you're saying right there is number one. I think we can all make time for self-care during the week, even if it's only 15 minutes. I would absolutely do self-care. Whether it's meditation, walking around the block, stretching, whatever it can be for you. You should make time to do self-care through the everyday. Now, housework. Kind of the way that I talked about time blocking the yard work that I'm doing today, you switch from going about your schedule for the week. Now you have these 2 days on the weekend, and you just time block everything from relaxation, exercise, cooking, doing housework and that sort of thing, and understanding how long you'll understand as you go how that stuff how long that stuff takes. As far as how to prioritize, we've gone through it in depth in other videos. So if you can check out other sessions, we talk about that in some other sessions in the previous weeks. But broad overview, what I would do is spitball on a list everything that you need to get done, right? Like just everything that you need to and would like to get done. Just write a big list for it. And then you want to pick out the things that are really important. Like of all the things, what would you like to get done first? And those are the things that then become your priorities. And so, ideally we would take a more long-term view with this. And, you're going to look at your long-term goals and connect the priorities that match up with your long-term goals. But if you're just starting out and just kind of getting used to the process, you want to just look at this entire big list of things that you need to do and just start chipping away at it. And then you sort of gain some awareness as to what was worth your time and what's not worth your time. It's all about growing your awareness of where you're spending your time. And then the more you explore your purpose and your goals, the more you can filter these through that lens. But that's all covered in previous sessions if you want to go back and check them. But we can always talk about it again going forward if you guys if you have more questions about it. Should have known that. Yeah. Cool. So I am gonna get on with my day. I'm gonna get my boys fed. We're gonna get their stuff done. Yeah. So I'm gonna get going and take care of all my stuff. I hope you guys have a great day. I plan on seeing you guys again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Make it a great Saturday. Keep moving forward. Do that thing, like time block out your day today and let me know how that goes tomorrow. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.